Hello everyone, and welcome back to The Fog Knows Your Name. I meant to upload this 3 times this week, and just didn't get a chance because I got like 2 hours of sleep this weekend. So, here I am, as usual, falling behind. Okay, so you can still remember that night like it was yesterday. It was early March, and there had been a stretch of freakishly warm days. Somebody had the bright idea of throwing a party on Burbridge Island. Burbridge is technically part of Acadia National Park and patrolled by park rangers, but there are spots that aren't visited as often, where kids go to get drunk and be stupid in the beauty of nature. You were wearing the kind of thing you usually wear. Let's see. A full goth attire. Oh my. A pleather jacket and black jeans. I would wear flannel. I love flannel. Something casual and comfortable, something flashy. I love flannel. I love flannel. It can look so cute and so nice. I like it. You were dressed perfectly for the weather and looked good without having to put too much effort into it. You and your friends had arrived together on Addie's parents' boat. Mrs. and Mr. Liu didn't care so long as it came back in one piece. Addie was the only one of your friends who genuinely wanted to go to the party. They had been working their ass off preparing for a big GSA event on top of juggling AP classes and needed to blow off steam. On top of that, they were missing Eli and Beth, the 2 people they were dating who both lived well over 100 miles away. For Addie, a party made sense. They were the most popular out of your entire friends group. They actually wanted to be around people, and they weren't intimidated by the in-crowd. They had even touched up their undercut and broken out their favorite black jeans, the ones that were so ripped up they probably wouldn't be wearable for much longer. Diego was torn about the whole thing. He liked the idea of parties and hanging out with more people, but in practice, they mostly just made him anxious and unhappy. Add to that his fear of getting in trouble with his parents, with the park rangers, with the universe itself, and he was not a happy camper. But Addie had convinced him that there was at least a fraction of a chance that he'd have a better time there than if he stayed at home and played video games, so there he was. Plus, the group did almost everything together. Diego ended up inundating the group chat with pictures of clothing options until Anuja? I want to say Anuha, but I don't think that's it. I think it's Anuja. Insisted he go with the first shorts and t-shirts he'd picked. Addie thought the outfit made him look like a Boy Scout, so to balance out the look, they slapped some product on Diego's chestnut hair to give him an edgier aesthetic. By the end of the boat ride, it was back to its messy, natural state. Anuja had a different, more serious problem. She didn't like to go to Burbridge Island. Her father, Karna Basu, had been a park ranger there, and 5 years ago he disappeared while on the job, just vanished. They never found a body, but they also never found any evidence that he'd abandoned his family and entire life of his own accord. Besides, he didn't seem like the type to do that. He doted on Anuja. Anuja had said she was fine with going, but she was being quieter than usual, and she was already a natural introvert. Other than braiding her hair, she hadn't done much in preparation for the party. She wore a giant blue sweater that nearly swallowed her already small frame whole, and she came equipped with practical hiking boots. She was not about to let Burbridge Island get the best of her. When you first got there, everyone split up to do their own thing. So I imagine... Okay, hang on. Let's look at stats. I believe that there must be a romance thing in this. Yeah, view relationships. So we are 65 with Anuja, Addie, and Diego. I can't say no to a gamer person. Anuja and I were hanging out by ourselves, people watching and gossiping. Addie and I were the life of the non-jock dominated part of the party. Diego and I were winning a game of drunk charades. Okay, I kind of like that. It was hard to get anyone to agree to play at first, but once you got started, it turned into hilarious chaos. You were wrecking the competition, and it wasn't just because they were completely wasted. You did see some of the jocks watching and laughing at you two, mocking Diego's excitement in particular, but you saw it in time to direct Diego's attention elsewhere. That lot had been ridiculing Diego since the dawn of time, and more often than not, he took it to heart. The next thing you drew was Mr. Walker, the PE teacher who carries himself like a drill sergeant straight out of a nightmare. You played it up by pretending to scream while marching back and forth with a rigid spine. "Gordon Ramsay! Full Metal Jacket! Mr. Walker!" Diego shouted, and by the time you'd finished celebrating your victory, the spectators had moved on. "You know, maybe I was wrong about high school parties. Maybe they aren't so bad after all," he said. He would have been singing a completely different tune had he turned in time to see his critics. Maybe in this case, a little obliviousness isn't so bad, or wasn't so bad. Still, the situation was precarious, and it was difficult not to wonder if treading on figurative jock territory by coming to this party was too risky. After a couple of hours, the gang all gravitated back to each other. No matter where you all were or what you were doing, this always happened. There was a sense of safety when the group was together. Other people were fun to be around sometimes, but Anuja, Addie, and Diego, they felt like home. Rex used to be part of that too, but now he had Caleb, Ashley, and the entirety of the higher reaches of the social hierarchy to spend his time with. Caleb and Rex had bonded over their shared status as star athletes, while Ashley loved everybody and was loved by everybody, so it was a reasonable romantic match. She was Arbor Isles' personal ray of sunshine, and she often dressed in bright colors that matched her usually bright mood. Diego always said she seemed too wholesome for Rex and that he just didn't get the attraction. You were all sitting by the fire when you heard Rex call out your name from the other end of the party, pissed off. Let's do a different name. Okay. Look. I've mentioned this in some other videos where I had customized things. I tend to just gravitate to naming my characters Sakura. Because I love card captor Sakura. So, look, don't judge me, okay? My name's Sakura. Sakura, what the hell is wrong with you? He asked as he stormed towards you. Who's Sakura? One of Rex's friends from the wrestling team asked. It wasn't really a surprise that he didn't know you. It's not like Rex would ever have reason to talk about how you used to be friends until he abandoned you for the cool kids' freshman year, and he never spent time with that crowd. A girl from your English class answered him. Wait. Oh my god. Okay. Look, don't judge me. Sakura Kinomoto, the girl from... Oh my god, that's so nerdy. Okay, look, sometimes I'm self-aware, alright? I know I'm nerdy. I know I'm dorky. Let's move on. I don't know what Rex would want with her, though, she added. Excuse me. The crowd parted for Rex without hesitation, and when he reached you, everyone went silent. Rex had that effect on people. He had strong facial features and eyes that were bright with laughter one minute and sharp with vindictive contempt the next. Rex brushed his brown curls out of his face, all the better to glare at you unobstructed. He seemed to glow in the campfire, the white of his Letterman jacket catching the light of the flames. You knew immediately what he was angry about. It was something you had done earlier that night. Oops. I had loudly made fun of how he used to be a socially incompetent loser in middle school. I may have exaggerated. I'd made an innocent comment after observing that Ashley was acting weird. Caleb had heard me sigh and mutter out of boredom when he was in the middle of a never-ending story. Maybe we should do... I don't know. You know what? This one may... You know what? I'm gonna go with this one. It's mean, but it's funny, okay? You had kind of been hoping that his newer friends would hear you and laugh at him. There was a time when Rex looked like the most socially hopeless out of all of you. He'd never admit to that, obviously, but his transformation between middle school and high school had been so thorough that few people remember what he'd been like. I hear you've been talking about me and are full of bullshit, Rex said, stopping in front of you. Calm down, Rex. You look like a rooster trying to prove you're king of the slaughterhouse. We get it. You're angry and masculine, Addie said, stepping up next to you. Stay out of it, Addie. I wasn't talking to you. This is between Sakura and me. Rex turned back to you, pretending like Addie wasn't even there. If you have something to say to me, say it to my face. I know that's asking a lot from someone who's still emotionally and socially stuck in 7th grade. Don't let him pummel you. Destroy this jackass. Eddie? Jeez. Addie whispered aggressively in your ear. Rex heard that, of course, and the argument escalated. There was a hesitance in him, though, like his heart wasn't in it and he was only just realizing it after it was too late. He probably shouldn't have started this in the first place then. You were the one to finally put in... I decided to punch him in the face. Okay, no, I feel like that would be doing Sakura a disservice. I moved my foot to trip him so that he'd fall. No, that's mean. I apologized and told him I didn't want to argue anymore because it wouldn't achieve anything. I tried to make a joke out of it. Okay. I feel like this is me. I would try to make... I cope with everything with humor, and sometimes it doesn't land well. So if this fails, I'm mean, I'm not saying that wouldn't happen in real life either. We all know your favorite movie is Fight Club, Rex, but I don't really want to reenact it right now. Plus, I'm not sure whether you want me to be Brad Pitt or Edward Norton. That's not my favorite movie anymore. It's The Prestige, he said, and his posture relaxed. Everybody knows that. Yeah, I don't want to reenact that either, you reply, and once he finally laughed, so did the people around him. Addie rolled their eyes, apparently disappointed that you didn't try to rip him to shreds, but they didn't comment. The tension diluted, the crowd lost interest in the conversation since it showed little potential of blowing up. For a moment it looked like Rex, now calmer, wanted to say something. That moment passed, and instead he nodded at you and walked away. If they hadn't before, the students of Ashbrook High knew exactly who you were now. You were someone who ended confrontations on your terms. It didn't matter that Rex was beloved and flawless in everyone else's eyes. You knew him before that, and knew just how human he really was. Maybe they did now, too. The party died down not long after the spectacle. Diego caught a ride home right away, stressed out by the social tension, and Addie took Anuja back as soon as the fog bank appeared on the horizon. Addie had entered that hour of the night where they were mostly focused on their group chat with Beth and Eli anyway, and Anuja was in desperate need of introvert time. Looking back now, it was probably the fog that brought the party to a close. Few in Arbor Isle liked to stay out once the white mist rolled in. Hang on, I did some weird tensing in there. Whatever. Few in Arbor Isle like to stay out once the white mist rolls in, even if they claim they don't believe the superstitions. It's a common phenomenon for someone in town to laugh at the sight of an old man rushing to get inside his home as soon as the fog reaches the shore, just to do the same minutes later. Rex was waiting for you by the docks when you got there. To say it was surprising when he offered you a ride home on his family's boat would be an understatement. You live close enough to me anyway. Besides, we should probably talk, he said. You could have found someone else to take you part of the way there, and you had all the reason in the world not to get in that boat with Rex. You said yes to him anyway. Didn't want it to look like I was scared of him. We used to be friends. Maybe there was still something of that left. I didn't like going home alone when the fog came in. It always felt like something was out there with me. It was the fastest way home and it was getting cold out. I want to believe that we could still be friends. There was a time when you spent almost every day together. You shared the same inside jokes, complained about the same people, knew what the other one was insecure about. Saying yes to this conversation wouldn't guarantee anything, but saying no to it might close the door on whatever remained of the friendship forever. In the distance, the trees pierced through the fog, but beyond them all was white. It was silent for the first minutes of the trip. Rex was the one who broke that silence. Ashley broke up with me, 2 days ago. Did you have something to do with that? What? No, of course not. You hadn't even realized they weren't together anymore, though it certainly explained a lot. Because I know you love to talk about me and spout a bunch of crap behind my back. I don't understand why you have to be that way. What's your issue with me? He asked. Why are you so determined to make sure everyone knows you hate my guts? Never mind. Don't answer that. I know what you'd say. That I'm a trash person who's shallow and self-serving. That I ditched you all for cooler friends. It's not true, though. You pushed me away as soon as I started hanging out with other people. You were the one who wanted to get rid of me. That wasn't true. Both of you knew it, even if he wouldn't admit him. I don't want to hurt him. I wanted him to know the truth, so I told him that I didn't like the person he'd become. I listened to what he had to say, doing my best not to let my thoughts drift to the fog. I was distracted by how what is happening? I was distracted by how spooky the fog looked on the water and didn't say much. I'm going to tell him the truth. I feel like he deserves my attention. I mean, I am scared of the fog. What were my stats? What do I get if I probably choose that? Book smarts, perception, otherworldly, or grounded. Okay, I'm already pretty dang otherworldly, so I don't think we need to choose any of that. So I want him to know the truth. It's not my problem if you don't like the version of me that makes me happy, he said in reply. You're gonna have to get over it. The fog bank swept across the water, leaving you and Rex alone in a world of white. Surely if there was a hell, this would be your corner of it. You and Rex trapped together in a universe full of nothingness with only each other for company. Maybe if you were more likable, we wouldn't have had this problem in the first place, Rex said, his voice nervous as his eyes scanned the obscured horizon. You didn't even give me the option of staying friends with you. I'm surprised Addie, Anuja, and Diego are still friends with you. You weren't quite home yet, so saying something to further aggravate him would have been potentially risky. To respond intelligently to his insult, I told him that I liked being friends with him and I wish things hadn't turned out this way. He was an athlete, so I moved to push him off the boat. Oh my god, I don't want to kill him. This ain't Silent Hill, Jesus. I just wanted to be home. Let's do this one. I wish things hadn't turned out this way. I liked having you as part of the group. We all did. It's too bad that things couldn't stay that way. That shut him up. The guilt was practically radiating off of him, but even that wasn't enough to get him to apologize or admit that what he had done was messed up. It wasn't until he dropped you off at the dock by your house that he spoke again. I liked hanging out with you too. Then he drove off into the mist and you walked the short distance home. All right, look, if I have an option, I don't know if I do because apparently he dies or something or disappears. I love me a good enemies to lovers, okay? I'm just saying. The next day, everything seemed normal. It was a Saturday. You helped your mom out at the diner in the morning, ate breakfast with her there, then went over to Diego's house to binge watch a show. It wasn't until after dinner that the news reached you. Diego's 14-year-old sister, Gabriella, had been at the ice cream shop by the beach when she saw the crowd and the Marine Patrol boat coming in. Rex was dead. His parents had reported him missing around noon, and when his friends told the police about the party, they went looking for him with the park rangers on Burbridge Island. They'd found the body towards the center of the island. All right, Look, I'm just saying. I know he's in here. Yeah, look, he's right there. Okay, he's right there. Rex is right there. He did? I don't believe it. Rex was dead. His parents, they found the body. It took a minute for it to sink in, but once it did, it was like realizing that you were in a nightmare that you would never wake up from. This wasn't a dream. It was real, and it wasn't going away. No, don't yawn. Excuse me. I felt physically weak. It still hits me like a ton of bricks. I was consumed by guilt with my last interaction. I still have trouble paying attention to what's going on around me. I wasn't able to concentrate, and my grades dropped. I say I felt physically weak. It still hits me like, that's typically how I get. I just get weak. I think. I don't know. That's how I think I get. Rex's death drained the strength out of your body. It was like having the flu, and small physical tasks that you would normally have found easy took everything out of you. Though it's steadily getting better, the ordeal has scarred you. In a small town like this, there's no escaping it. The tragedy hit all of Arbor Isle hard. Rex was not only popular in school, he was well liked by the lobstermen, whom he helped out from time to time, and he had helped build the community garden. It didn't matter to people that he was a jerk to a handful of nobodies. The details about Rex's death trickled in day by day. His body had been found propped up against the base of a tree. The autopsy would later reveal that he drowned. A drowned body doesn't drag itself up onto dry land. It didn't take a detective to know that Rex had been murdered, or at the very least, that his body had been tampered with after he had died. The coroner placed his death between 5 and 6 in the morning, which was long after you were asleep. When the police asked if Rex had any enemies, everyone pointed to you, of course. Luckily, the hardware store near your house has a security camera outside that caught footage of you walking home before the time of Rex's death, and your lobsterman neighbor who leaves for work long before sunrise saw you go inside your house. Additionally, you helped your mom out at the diner early the next morning, so the timing didn't work out. Sheriff Berlin still kept you on the hook for as long as she could. You were, after all, the last person to see Rex Keller alive, and everyone knew you'd had a fight. Her being Caleb's mother didn't help things, as you were sure he was insisting to her that it had to have been you. Nothing else made sense. Everybody loved Rex. They never did find anyone else who could have been the murderer. The official story is that it was an accident, maybe even a suicide. Someone must have seen him and taken his body to where it was found, then panicked when they realized it might look like they killed him instead of just finding him. No one believes that, though. Just because the police never arrested you doesn't mean that all of Arbor Isle hasn't made up their minds about what really happened. Back to the present. I think we're going to go ahead and leave this here. It's a good length for this. I hope you guys are enjoying this. I love me a good horror story. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye.